If you find yourself one day with the progress of time and the ages and the invasion of the earth by monsters and incomprehensible beings, the strongest and most explosive person among all of humanity, but the market has your bad luck, you find yourself unable to bear this amount of strength that you have. She dies and is detained in a world in 2 dimensions for 3,560 years. And after you come back, no one knows anything about you and you don't have anyone. Your mighty power still exists and is unknown among humanity. To the extent that the Jet S is powerful, the device works as an error. This is the story of Kim Kyung, the young man who lived an ordinary life and it did not last forever because of his bad luck. This cake is similar to the cake, people love it very much. You will find it in the recipe, watch it and you will like it very much. But before we see who this Kim Kyung is, what happened to him, and how he is so strong, don't forget to support the video if you like it and the entire channel so that we can reach the punch in Yusra's time. Praying for the Prophet is more important than anything else. Let's go. The story begins with Kim Kyung, just a 20-year-old college student. He works in a grocery store like any normal person. He would be bored of repeating his day. And he is tired of everything in his life. Until he received a letter from his mother. You will check on him and let him know that today is his forever day. So Kyung, our hero, is in charge and forgets this thing. And he remembers his mother more than him. But he was surprised when he was talking normally to her on WhatsApp. The window next to it breaks and the phone falls out of it. So he quickly runs outside to see what exactly is happening. As soon as he goes out, he can't find sleep. For example, he suffocates. A young family is playing with bricks. But he looks up and here is the shock that is bigger than his life. He finds huge monsters and creatures from another world. And its forms are a need for God. When he looked at the city, he found a dragon and a fire. And the world is ruined by Promax. He doesn't believe what's happening and says, is this real or am I dreaming? He sees one of the ugliest monsters on the black hole that looks like this. His fate is as long as this man. He is afraid that he will save his life quickly and tries to escape from it as quickly as he can. He can't think or do anything other than poking himself. Suddenly he falls to the ground and asks himself, what's wrong with me? I don't understand. He looks at his leg and throws it into a cautious position while he is in another circumstance. Blood will come out from the bug, and the stomach will be divided into 2 halves like this from the beginning. And he looks at him before he says goodbye to the world. And he finds the monster that needs an attack to die. It will be cut into 2 halves on one end. And your stomach begins to dry, a sad scene that makes you close your eyes. He slowly loses consciousness. There comes a system that must enlighten us about who we are. And he says to him, the wake-up system has been activated. He also sends his poems and says, she restarted the wake test. His stomach says, what kind of gas, what is this? Suddenly the world starts to break and the dimension it is in is disintegrating. Suddenly, his stomach found his body intact. He falls on the ground and raises his stomach and head, completely normal. He asks himself what exactly is happening. Where did I go like this? He begins to be shocked when he finds himself in a world of all symbols. And his body notices that it is back to normal. He doesn't understand what an emphysema is. He begins to feel that his memories are disappearing and his thinking is becoming distorted. Then the system master appears again and says, play has been revived. He is welcomed into the awakening zone. My stomach is like this, I don't understand anything. He concludes what you and I do well, which is that he is on a computer. The system master comes to him and tells him that the wake-up test has restarted. He looked up and saw a monster from the deep web. And it will be the system that created this monster for him. The system explains to him in a message that he must attack this test monster. If he touches it, it doesn't matter whether he wears it or not, the monster will disappear. And the test will end. He says to Kyung, I'm still alive. If I get close to him, he makes me think he looks like a monkey on her. So the system master comes to him and tells him, it is impossible to kill him, my son. The program is formalized to be strong in the manner of bent cow. You won't be able to kill him the first time, for sure. Kyunji is shocked that the regime's voice responded to him. He keeps screaming at his voice and asks the regime who you are. I am at ease now. Why did you bring me here? Mr. Nizam responds to him and tells him that this is the player's wake-up area. This area was created to test the mind. So Kyunji doesn't understand anything and will be mad at what he says. The system appears to him and tells him that humans have awakening abilities. And when you awaken your ability and touch this monster, this test you are in will end. And you will return to the real world again. Mr. Nizam tells him, don't be afraid of dying in the test. Because here you are an immortal being, and every time you die, you will come back again. Kyunji is shocked and feels like he is in a game. He looked around and found an attack from the monster, but it did not attack him. He gets very nervous and finds the monster screaming at him. He starts making a dangerous attack from his lioness. He turns his face to Kyunji. Kyunji has no other choice. His only choice is Al-Cattle. And he says to himself that I should do something. The monster attacks him and destroys the earth in his place. But by God, his stomach disappeared and he started to feel a strange hole. There will be an electrical condition surrounding it. His eyes are luminous and their shape destroys the world. And Mr. Nizam appears and says, waking up worked. You get all the abilities and skills. We see Kyung's feelings and he is still at the first level. Its hatch is 25 and its cuff is 11. And the magic hatch 22. He does not have any fetishistic features. His stomach ruptures his liver and a halo emerges from it. And he prepares to attack, and a poor scene appears on the monster. And he will attack Pax with his speed. He collects his blows and says to himself, I don't have just one solution for my situation. We are shackled by reality and freed from this strange test. He hits the beast with his liver and makes his mother tear you apart. There is a big explosion and the regime appears and tells him, the test is over. He congratulates him on waking him up, and his stomach smiles in a funny way. The regime appears and tells him the mission is completed. The reward is the physical enhancement skill. We will know what it is later. The mission is to see his stomach standing like this for a while. Suddenly, he shouted at the system and said, the test is not over, uncle. Hatch took me out of this place. Of course, we are all waiting for him to return to life and his knowledge again. But this is not what will happen, unfortunately. Because the system suddenly showed many screens telling him that there was an error. His stomach becomes swollen and he finds the place has changed color. They tell him the system is due to an unknown error. You will not be able to get out of the place you are in. So his stomach bleeds like what happened to you and me. The system tells him the test will be repeated again. Wake up test. And the same monster that is still hidden appears in front of him again. Oh my dark day. And his stomach says to himself, what a slave. So Kyonji starts to get more nervous. He curses his life and his black heart. He screams and the regime tells him, you are joking with me with your mother's soul. Get me out of here, uncle. Suddenly, the monster launches an attack at him that destroys him and kills him. And his stomach understands that this mistake happened to his black hole. He remains stuck in a space and place that was incomprehensible. It takes him a week, a month, and a year. Everything that dies comes back again. He is in a difficult situation and is about to go crazy. He tells him that when he dies, he will come back again. But his brain is still the same. When he found the system, he appeared and told him that your healing statistics had increased. And it will only be 10 more. It remained a quarter and 70. He gets upset and asks the regime, seriously, my stats increased. Mr. Regime says to him, yes, uncle, I will be with you. Your healing stats are increased due to damage. Then Young asks you and says, okay, you definitely fixed the mistake that happened and put me in this place right. The regime tells him, no, my love, nothing has been fixed and you will never get out of here. He remains silent. He laughs in his stomach and says, hello. He says to himself that I have been in this same situation for years. And I'm back 4 years. He says that he tried to escape with his speed. I tried to get up, but the place would not finish. There is no end to this place. And he finds that his statistics have increased, as if he hacked the system. His health ranged from a quarter of 70 to 1070. His hole became 56, and the light one became 24. And the desert cave remained 37. I still don't notice any feminine features. And we see his stomach in his scene, it is divided into 2 halves. And he is trying to understand or trying to act. But there is no solution for him. It has been 10 years since this psychological torture. We see Kyung's stomach asking the regime what is happening on planet Earth right now. The system says nothing has changed at all. This is because time in the distance you are in is very slow. This is relative to time on planet Earth. It will be 10 years in the distance he is in. It is equal to just 1 day on planet Earth. The beginning of his stomach is the one who says this. The topic feels very suffocating. He remembers his mother's message when she spoke to him at work. She told him to buy chicken while he was coming back. I wonder why he still hasn't bought anything yet. She definitely doesn't know where he is. He didn't see it at the Koran grocery store. I say Corona because it has been in this state for 500 years. I don't know how anyone can bear this. If there is no mental change that will happen to him. When we meet his condition, it makes one sad. Wad Muntahi says to himself that all his memories have become blurry. He doesn't think about his family, his friends, or who he is. And he only thinks about one thing. Why is all this happening to him? But he was thinking about the monster that no one else is surprised about in this place. He attacks him again. His stomach was maddening at the end, and he was hit and hit, causing him to evaporate. And he would be bored of all the words he kept living with. Player, system and wake up. He is literally bored of everything. He is only interested in one thing. Why did this happen to him exactly? What does it mean? He says to himself that all I wanted was a happy life full of new things, but nothing more. We see him in a shot standing fanatically on his back. And he says to himself the only thing I can release is my nervousness, the monster that appears every now and then. He attacked him with a very strong attack that included all his skills. It will only be once 10 years on planet Earth that humanity will be awakened. We see the city at sunset, completely normal. We find that the distance in the sky is broken and the system appears to be wrong again. It somehow destroys the firewall due to the system's remoteness. And we find his stomach that destroyed him. We see him return to the world again, and his hair remains white. He will be 3,000 years old in this state. We can see that his stomach has changed in appearance and his hair has become white. And about him because he changed. We see his statistics when there are no numbers. Bacon has reached 1 level in the intertemporal sky. He will be able to fly, and if he looks like this, he will destroy the world. The system will be in offline mode. This means that there is no internet connection. And his stomach says to himself when he first reached the ground. In the past 3,000 years, he was only thinking about himself every day. What will he do as soon as he leaves and returns to his real world? And Mr. Regime says that the complementary behavior is over. Only 10 years have passed on planet Earth. His stomach asks where the regime and his mother are now. The system tells him, I can't tell you because you are currently in offline mode. This feature is only available in online mode. He filled his stomach and said, sure, there is no need for 30. And he says now I'm going home. He actually does this and goes home and finds his wife devastated. The place has no soul. So he asks himself what happened to his house. He finds 2 members of the army walking behind him and noticing him. And one of them says, what are you doing here? The area you are in is restricted to civilians. Return to the safety zone immediately. So his stomach asks him what happened in this place. The soldier tells him, if you don't know, are you living in a cave or something? So he says, his stomach knows me, uncle. The soldier tells him that the place is like this because of the cell gate that opened 10 years ago. So his stomach understands that he is talking about the monsters that we saw at the beginning of the episode. And the one who killed him. He asks his stomach, where are the people who used to live here? The soldier says to him, who are the people, my son? Everyone here is dead. The word falls on his stomach like a thunderbolt. His father begins to relax and asks himself if the mother died. The soldier tells him that only those who left their homes in a strange way were the ones who were living. I heard that they went to the safe area. He tells him that if you are looking for someone specific, go there. So Kyanji's stomach grabs him from his clothes and says without thinking, come on, where is this area? The soldier is afraid of him and tells him that she is in the area. Its name will be the city of Al-Imar. So they leave his stomach and he quickly runs to see if his mother is still alive or not. We will see those who are not with the soldiers. We find someone who tells them that a new cell has appeared. He tells him the place where she appeared in the area. Whoever has a stomach is going to her now. The soldiers are shocked. And we will go to this city. And we go to the place where the dungeon will appear. We find circular energy appearing in the sky. When we met the army, it arrived at the place there. We meet a person named Lieutenant Kian. He says that the situation seems to remain a deterioration here. The soldiers with him told him to secure the place. Get support quickly, we won't be able to find this lonely cell. Then one of the soldiers asked, where are the calamities, my son, at the moment? The soldier tells him that they have moved and are coming. So Kian gets hurt because they are neglecting this city. So the lieutenant whose name is called is not a stranger to me, nor is he in debt. What shall we do now, chief? He says, you are still asking me to create a defense line and destroy the little monsters. We will do our duty with the large and medium monsters in order to provide support to the awakened. So Dion says, you should be careful, uncle. If we do this, all civilians will die. So Kian says, okay, let's go die with them, so shut up. What do you think? He became angry with her and told her to close your door and carry out orders. And build a defense line. If monsters enter our area, we will all bid farewell to the criminals. He takes Kyanji's stomach to the place where the army is. So he asks Nizam's stomach what is happening here. He tells a system in a cell that you will appear in the place you are in after 3 minutes. His stomach is shocked and he remembers the last time he was on planet Earth. A dungeon attacked and destroyed cities. He gets angry and says to himself, my mother is definitely in danger right now. This is if she is still alive at all. So he walks in front of him and approaches the soldiers who prevent him from continuing his walk. He tells him to stop. What are you doing, uncle? In a cell, you will appear here. Now try your speed to the safe area. The soldier had his hand crossed over his chest. So Kyanji pushed him to the ground with a simple movement. 2 soldiers fall to the ground. Kyanji gets angry and upsets his stomach. He tells the soldiers who allowed this teacher to enter here, stop it now. All the soldiers raise weapons to Kyanji's stomach, and the situation is tense. His stomach stands still and suddenly he says in a harsh tone and an evil look, she is far from him, and what is his hand between you and him? He is afraid of the soldiers and follows them all. Lieutenant Kyungji gets angry at them and says, what are you doing? What made you leave it? One of the soldiers tells her that he is a player. So his stomach will be walking towards the place where the cell will open. The gate begins to open and all the soldiers become nervous. And the hands of a terrifying monster begin to emerge from the gate. He tells the soldiers that we will kill this monster with the weapons we have. This is a suicide mission. Lieutenant Gino becomes angry and runs to catch his stomach. We can see his stomach as he came up the stairs. He stays away from the place, from the cell, and from everything that happens. The system says the cell has appeared and its lobby has 5 stars. He has a belly of these annoying dungeons and monsters in his hands. And the monster begins to get closer to him in all aspects. A young monster attacks him, scratching behind his back. But he doesn't even want to go near his stomach. He starts blushing as soon as he touches his stomach. He falls behind her on the stairs, devastated. And the monster attacked him. His stomach would open easily if one of them attacked him. And he catches one of them and plants his mother on the ground. He stepped on his face and noticed that the giant monster remained. The monster looked at them with a not so nice look. His stomach before a new year begins. He tapped on it and replaced it with a box for your screen. He finds 4 monsters in front of him. They hold successive punches at the same time. He will destroy them all. A group of monsters attack him from behind him. And a man turns around with a simple movement, which also turns them around. And Kyonji looks like this, and his image is not normal. And the second monster, the plane, starts coming at him. He quickly flies at them with his belly and destroys them as well. We went to the horses that were running down the stairs. The one who was walking on his stomach. She says he was sure he was here. She looks over it and realizes that she cannot find his stomach. Destroy every monster that came out of the cell alone. And it says that he destroyed a 5-star dungeon without any interference from anyone. And he did all of this alone. And you say tanks and warplanes. You can't do what he did. At the same time, a huge explosion occurs behind them. The main monster that was opened appears. The cell and he sees that the monster is dead. And it's crazy. And the system knows in its belly that it is this monster if it dies in a cell. It will be closed. Then his stomach begins to splatter, and it is as if there is a monster in front of him. And he looked at him with a look of seriousness. We see the lieutenant coming to him and she is nervous. And you say that this is a full 5-star monster. She looks behind her to meet civilians. She tells herself there is no other time. We must do ethics. She says people run away quickly. The monster notices them and shouts at them. And his stomach was standing in the middle of them, as if nothing was happening to him. There is a little girl who is crying, and it falls on the ground. Another small monster appears and attacks the girl in order to eat her. And the mother takes her daughter in her arms and about to be eaten. But he pokes them in the stomach in the 90th minute. And he holds the monster in his hand as if he had been killed. Underneath is cloth. His mother thanks him and continues running with her daughter. He looked down at them with looks of fear. He tells the system, she is my mother, where can I find her again? He tells the system, I will make you feel better right now. The feeling will finish within 3 seconds. And dwell in your memories, if they exist soon. It tells the system that there is nothing around you. His stomach growls and he remembers their shapes. And he says to himself, in the hills, many years have been destroyed. I always kept them in mind so that I wouldn't forget them. But now my memory is the tank. About their features and I don't remember anything. And he suppresses his eyes, the monster, and he hides in the hole of the pain of his heart. And he starts collecting volumes. And he shoots him in the stomach. His stomach activates the physical reinforcement skill. And his hair remains white. And the aura surrounding him, and his appearance like this, will blow up the world. He starts to push away the monster's attack so that it doesn't harm anyone. Why does he remember his mother's message? And he does all of this. And his passion extinguishes, and he is fanatical about the end. There are 2 bodies still left of the monster. He silences them all without making a mistake. This disturbs the crowds watching in silence. And his stomach falls to the ground. He looked at the monster and found it collecting huge amounts of iron. And he shoots it at him and it is close to his stomach. Kyung closes his fist. He strikes the attack and reflects it back at the monster. And the monster evaporates from existence. It shocks civilians and soldiers. And he sees his stomach gnawing. In front of the place that was destroyed, it is no longer there. Any need other than earth and passion. John sits in shock. His stomach tells the system that it cancels the reinforcement skill. And he looked at the earth with a glance. Despair and sadness, he says he is very tired. And he finds someone coming next to John. He was holding a piece of paper in his hand, saying Kyung was missing. And she says goodbye to Kyung. Kyung looked at him in astonishment. The system checks the sound from his stomach memories. And he finds that it is the voice in his memories. And his stomach says to himself, 3,000 years. It quickly passed through his brain. And the hair of those who were destroyed and died during this period. He came back again now and it exploded. And he begins to care for him, his eyes streaming with tears. And it will be what I missed. His mother is also suffering from it as soon as she sees him. They run to each other and hug each other. And his mother says that she is recovering. You don't know how much I missed you. Kyung regrets that he didn't bring her the chicken. What you asked for. But happiness is not our appropriate choice in this world. As we know, our stomach has a worse luck from any creature around him. Because we find it from where we do not know. Dagger from a monster. He stabs his mother in the back. Kyung looks at her as shocked as that. He says to himself that in 300 years he became stronger the more he died. He was able to come back to life again. He says to himself, but my strength is unnecessary. As long as I can't fathom the person dear to me. The monster takes out the dagger from his mother's body. And he brings his mother to the ground. And the monster attacks again. But Lieutenant John takes out her gun. And his brain is perforated. And the monster dies while our stomach holds its mother. Workers trying to do anything. But I don't know, and his mother tells him, don't be thirsty, son. And her blood begins to bleed from what remains. In a scene that is difficult for our stomach. And our stomach begins, which was not happy with its mother. Anyone who hasn't seen it for 3,000 years is crying. Baka shouts at the sound of his voice. We move from the scene directed at the heart. This is the area where the defense area is shown. For number 39. We meet John there, and he tells John that the matter has grown. Oh, Kyung-da. So he says yes to John, because he is describing the cells. It can destroy all the dungeons in the area. This is what we are in. And you know that the anicaps are starting to get uncomfortable. Their appearance also moves. So he held the matter in her hand and said, I want you to answer me this, Kyung, before you go any further. We go to a forest and find many explosions there. And his stomach will wipe out all the monsters. Whoever comes in front of him. And workers destroy the world and save many of them. A whole army of monsters appears in front of him. And he takes his stomach out with him. He tells the system that he is using a skill. Strengthen the body. It actually activates and starts attacking all the monsters. And he vaporizes it. And he ends up in the cell. We see him sitting in a place under the thick clouds. Someone comes and puts his umbrella over his head. And it will be to John what you say. I miss you so much, Kyung. She introduces herself to him and says we have met before. But there was no time to say hello. So his stomach will be stuck in the ground and completely finished. And you say, John, I understand what you feel. You were trying to lock the cell. By destroying all monsters. But all of this is unnecessary. Because after a while, her cell begins to form again. All you do is disperse your anger, nothing more. So Kyunji tells her what else and what else to do. So you say I don't mean anything. So Kyunji stops her and says it. It has been around for 3,000 years. My body and my existence are being torn apart every day. After this period, I knew we would come back again. And after I did that. After I tried all of this to get back together with my family again. But all of this was unnecessary. Do you want to tell me more? I bear what happens too. Is there anyone who can bear all of this? So he starts walking away from her. Then, in the south, she screams and says, I will help you get back. More than dungeons and monsters. And this brain pain. Just come with me, please. We don't see what happened between them again. As time goes by, 6 months ahead. Kyung is sleeping in a hospital bed. Kyung sees her from outside while wearing a suit. His mother tells him that he is a public employee. He remained a high-level person. I will not be able to visit you regularly as always. Because you know the government's job. There is no rest and he knows that he will come. She has this every once in a while. Surely his mother is in a coma all this time and can't hear anything. So he walks on her stomach and enters the place like this. He finds many cocks greeting him. Her stomach tightens and begins to transform, while her body remains in shreds. And his hair is white. He looks worried. He tells the soldiers who are with him, let's go. We go to a place where there are many monsters. When we find her stomach, he wipes them off as usual. We go to a place where there are drinks. We find a stranger sitting alone. He drinks and suddenly asks, what brought you here? We find another person who blossomed next to him. So this person says, I'm coming to drink. With a free reconnaissance object. Baek Chol. So Bishul shows the plane he was wearing. And this person tells him to go into the butter at all times. This person says, this is the thing I love most about you. He gets into the topic and says, you must have heard about it, right? Who has been worried lately? He says that he really caused us problems. And our work is delayed. So he says, what do we want to transfer to you? So the other person says, what is this? And if you erase anything, it's over. That is, you meet him and recruit him. And you treat him like a leader. So he takes the piety and says it is understandable. He walks away from the place and goes to the place where there are flying monsters, which is 5-star level. He enters the inside of the cell they are in. Him and his team. They let the system know that he entered the dungeon where flying monsters live. They know that the portal will appear soon. One of his team tells him that this is the last cell. We will spend half of this month there. Yoongi tells you, okay, let me stay here. And always be prepared. And the passion turns off, and it approaches the monsters that you notice. And screaming at him. He asks the regime where the head of these monsters is. The examination and search system for the president begins. The monsters around his stomach begin to attack him. And he starts to hate you. One by one, easily and lethally. The system tells him that there is only 1 second left. The examination is complete. And his stomach appears enormous. And he vaporizes all the monsters around him. The system informs him that the examination has been completed. The main monster is located 12 kilometers away, in the northern side. So his stomach shoots at all speeds. It arrives in less than a second. He will be in front of the leader of this dungeon, which is his name, Albatross. He will be one of his stomach team following what is happening in Minzer. He tells the team that the matter will be resolved soon. Keed Kyunji is in control of the situation. One of the soldiers says that he is meeting the leader and all the monsters alone. This is literally the monster here, it doesn't matter. And he tells them this person. The one who is acting is suspicious that they will all move. Suddenly they find a gate opening behind them. And it comes out foolish. He attacks Alcade's deputy and the attack takes advantage of her. But he leaves it. And whoever did this will distort what we saw a while ago. Then he attacks him again, insults him, and kills him. And they enter as Cole's team. He tells Chol that he is the person who is the deputy who still killed him and that he is dead. And it's definitely not Kyung. And he asks for the soldiers of his stomach to be removed. I am one of you, Ho Kyung. We go to his stomach, which is still facing the leader, and he seems to be in trouble with him. He will be attacked by an attack, but it will not cause a serious injury to the leader. The leader then attacks quickly with very strong fire. An echo from his stomach and its shape like this will affect his stomach. There is a strong vibration from this leader's attack throughout the dungeon. He reaches Cole and his soldiers. He says to Chul that none of you are right, Kyung. That's it, you'll all die. Until Kyung himself appears. We go to a far place in the cell. I find a person talking to himself. His hair is white and he looks strange. I wonder what remains of this teacher. What will you do with this man who has entered his heart into his stomach? Is it possible that he is stronger than his stomach? What happened, Kyung, from the leader's last attack? If you liked the video and the story and want the sequel and the elephant, comments. And don't forget to support the video and the entire channel so we can reach the punch faster. Watch this story, you will like it very much. But praying for the prophet will remain more important than anything. Oh, peace.